Today is July 23rd. It is 7:30. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Lord, we are meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon these activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Shoemaker.
Present.
Mathis.
Here.
Karuga is present. Rain is absent. Kessler.
Here.
Gopal.
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have 6 members present.
What was that? All right, to the audience, we are going to be televised, and we are at every one of our meetings. There's a camera there, and over here. You're welcome to come up, stand at the podium, and give your name. You do not have to give your address. Now, if it's for the Four Lakes people, we have this assessment. If you have something to say, we want you to come up and say it on this meeting, not so much the next meeting. So I'm going to give you now, it sounds like 2 minutes is short. It isn't, and I'm not going to cut it right off. But please don't repeat yourself from one person to another so we can get through this assessment. All right. Oh, and this program is on channel 191 on Charter. So you can start seeing it, I think, about Thursday. And it'll go on for 2 weeks. And so you'll just watch the different ones and then you'll see yourself on television. For the gentleman in the back, I mean, there's more chairs up here and there's chairs up in the front. If any of you want to move forward.
Want me to get some out?
Oh, they've got quite a few of them out.
Okay.
All right. Approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda as presented? A motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Included in the packet are your meetings, your minutes from July 9th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or request revisions for the meeting minutes? The meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Expenditures. Are there any questions in regard to any of the expenditures that are in front of you?
There was a $3,000 check for what was labeled as a refund on a sewer.
Oh, okay, I can tell
Tell
you
me what
that.
that is and how
Yeah,
that happens? Does
yes.
that, like, apply for that?
What Mr. Tucker is talking about is there's a check here refunding someone $3,000 for a sewer connection. This goes back to the Shepherd's property that's on Torrey Road. And you notice that the one building was tore down, and yesterday they had an auction on the blue building, and they'll be tearing that one down, I believe. When they tore a building down before that, the Shepherds or the people in the government didn't know not to shut off the billing. And so Mrs. Shepherd was charged for many years, even though it's on a bill, but she was charged so much money. I only can go back so many years. I believe I went back 3 years in regards to it. So that's what we did. We refunded her money. But I mean, we couldn't even tell you when they shut that off. And I don't remember the other building that was tore down over there either. Do any of you? You do, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's what it was, John.
Thank you, Matt.
Are there any other questions? All right. A motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $1,231,000 $1,000.94.
So moved. Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent, motion passes.
Public hearings. Proposed street improvement special assessment district. 4 Lakes Avenue, West 4 Lakes Drive, Sadler Drive, Squaw Lake Drive, Isle View Drive. This is the first hearing of this special assessment for the improvement of 4 Lakes Avenue and all the other streets that I said. The total estimate cost for the project is approximately $186,600. I will be opening the hearing, the public hearing for you, for the residents, regarding the following: the creation of the special assessment district, the proposed boundaries of the district, the necessity of the improvements, and the plans for the improvements. You also have letters, gentlemen, in your, in regards to, there are some people that are opposed to it. And, you know, Tom, I think I'm gonna have you read those 2 letters.
Before we dive into this, I think as you all know, I'm in the special assessment district, so I don't think I am properly
You want to abstain?
allowed to participate in this, and I think I have to. I mean, there's a direct financial interest, so I don't think you can make me do that, but I have to ask nicely. Bob? Bob's gonna take it as a challenge.
So you wanna make, request a motion? then?
Yeah, yeah.
You
can all
really
let me-
want to, huh?
You can all let me on and vote no on this one, so my neighbors don't all string up and kill me.
Oh, so you made a motion. Did anybody second it?
Oh, I don't know, can I make that motion?
I'll make,
I can't.
I'll make a
Bob, make the
motion
motion.
that Mr. Tucker be allowed to abstain from the vote regarding the proposed street improvement plan.
Thank you, thank you, Robert.
Roll call, please.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mathis,
Yes,
Lorraine is absent.
Thank you.
motion's carried.
You don't
All
want
right.
to leave?
These letters came to you, Bob.
Good.
Do you wanna read them, or do you want Tom to read them?
I don't think they need to be read in completion. I think we just note for the record, there were 2 letters of objection received. I think that's sufficient for the record.
But I mean, I feel on this one, the 2 that said they don't agree with it, some of the literature, I mean, some of the information in these letters is not correct. And I don't want the people to think they're wrong. But if the board doesn't want them read, fine.
I'll read them if you want.
All right, I would like you to read that one.
Okay, this letter reads, I am writing this letter in objection to the assessment that is proposed for residents living on Crystal Cove Court. I live on Crystal Cove Court. My road is not in good shape, but I don't see my road included in the paving project. Why would I be included in the assessment for something I'm not getting? Would you go into a store and pay for something you're not getting? I don't think so. That's exactly what's happening to me. I do not drive on any of those streets mentioned in the paving project. Someday when Crystal Cove Court has to be paved, will all those currently proposed street owners help pay for our street? Again, probably not. I firmly disapprove of the township including Crystal Cove Court in the assessment to pay for someone else's road project. In your letter, you stated the cost of the improvement will be assessed against the benefiting properties. How are we benefiting? Our roads stay the same. If you consider coming out of Crystal Cove Court and going maybe 100 feet to Ralston a benefit, I surely disagree with that. This was a letter was sent, but the person never signed it.
Signed it. Okay. I wonder.
So
Tom, do
it's,
you
it's
want,
hard to reply. In,
do you want to explain that, Tom, in regards to, he was concerned about Crystal Cove and that you're assessing them, and explain why. We know why, but the board and the people don't.
Well, the statute does say that the properties benefiting from the improvement can be assessed. And although there can be an argument as to how much benefit, I think clearly Crystal Cove Court properties do benefit. It's actually about 240 feet from Ralston to Crystal Cove Court, so it is a relatively small amount. And although we're not to the point where we're discussing the assessment roll, the proposed amount is only a quarter of what the frontage people are paying. So, you know, it's an argument that has been made, and it's up to the board to decide how that will work.
you want me to read that?
Yeah, read that one too.
This is story time by the clerk. As per township notice, this is regarding road improvements for 4 Lakes, West 4 Lakes Drive, Sadler Drive, Squaw Lake Drive, Island View Drive. First, I would like to mention that I never received the initial mailing to inform me of the plan to asphalt the above until John Tucker drove into my driveway and to my surprise informed me of the plan. I would like to know why I have not been informed and hereby request that the signature I signed on that form that John Tucker handed me be considered null and void. From what I understand, the idea of fixing/revamp the above mentioned road was initiated by the township. Wasn't initiated by the township, but by a few individuals, maybe with self-interest in mind. The idea may not have been initiated by the township, but the township is certainly promoting and pushing for it, even forcing the issue. I believe the township should let us residents who must pay an astronomical amount for what seems to be an unnecessary project know every detail behind such a project, including the following: the names of those who initiated the project, the contractor involved, and if they live on the above-mentioned streets. Township must make all info available, including names of all bidders and their respective submissions, cost, etc. Who is Eastern Asphalt and the name of its owner and place of residence. I myself drove the area of the above-mentioned streets, and from my perspective, those roads can withstand more wear and tear. The roads I use on a daily basis are all pretty much similar to the ones that the township is promoting to change, that they are not being targeted to be revamped, costing some residents an exorbitant price. In fact, a few days ago, I drove through the township parking lot, and the asphalt was also torn and damaged. Even if quite recently this was all fixed and re-asphalt, telling me that streets cannot remain perfect and almost immediately start breaking down. Now, of utmost importance, I find it rather strange/unsettling that this project is not as ingenious as it may appear, considering among other issues, 2 streets, Crystal Cove and Emerald Point, haven't been flagged and pinpointed for improvement. Even if they look just as bad, maybe better to some, than those streets we were told to be fixed and improved. This is totally illogical and makes no sense. I would like to have answers as to why those 2 streets were removed from the overall picture, omitted, and by whom. I believe the township should be protecting our interests in general and not interests of a few. Considering June 25th, 2018 was the first day I was informed of the project, I asked that I be given exactly the same amount of time others had to decide on the issue. Perhaps, too, it would be a good idea to put this project on the back burner for meantime. Thank you. And as P.S., as mentioned to you earlier over the phone, due to prior commitments, I will not be able to attend the meeting regarding the above. Is dated July 10th, 2018, and signed by A. Farah, 4265 West Four Lake Road, Linden, Michigan, 48451.
Okay, thank you. Normally, we don't read all that. There was quite a few things in there, and I thought, what we are, the Township Board, we're the collection agency for this. People come to us and say, we would like our road fixed. Township doesn't have the money, so then Mr. Broker will go and find out how many parcels in that. And Tom, we don't get the bids. The people that are with the petitions submit the bids.
That's correct. In this case, because it's a private road, they have the option of soliciting proposals themselves, which they've done, and then presented the one that was the best one for the project.
All right, so this man wants his name off that petition. So percentage-wise, what is it gonna?
And that was already, she had talked to me early on.
Oh,
and
it's
so
already-
Is not
the
included.
58+%, or it has her frontages excluded from the total.
Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna open it up to public comment on the Four Lakes Road assessment, special assessment. You're welcome to come up and give your information, whatever you wanna say. No booing though, okay? Or clapping, let's do both. Okay. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
That was a lot.
So good evening, I'm Mark Shantz. Let me give you some of the numbers. The breakdown by parcels was 134 parcels. 81 were signed and returned. That equals 60% of the petitions were signed. About 10 of the parcels were homes that were either unoccupied, rented, or were property owned by developers. So those 10 houses, we were unable to get any signatures. The breakdown by neighborhood for this petition. Sadler Drive, 100% approval. Squaw Lake Drive, 100% approval. Isleview Drive, 100% approval. Four Lakes Drive, 72% approval. And for those counting, that's 33 were signed out of 46. And of that 46, there were a handful of houses where the residents were literally not there during the petition collection period, or they were rented, or they were recently sold and new owners had not moved in. So we're unable to get to talk to those. Emerald Point, 55% approval. And most of the parcels that did not sign were homes that were either being built, which there is one, or raw land, which are several pieces of property that is present conversations to be sold to new owners. Of the current residents at Emerald Point, and again, it's correct, we are not doing their road, all but one homeowner signed the petition in Emerald Point to fix the roads mentioned. West Four Lakes, 53% approval, and that was 18 of 34 parcels. And Crystal Cove was 6%, or one person, which I assume he signed a mistake, which is one of 16. The resistance, based on information that's been given to me, and I'm president of the Road Association, so the name the person's looking for is probably mine, is twofold primarily. One, I think some people in Crystal Cove believe that their assessment is excessive. That's their position. Some believe they shouldn't pay anything. The fact of the matter is, and we can argue the percentage, as you said earlier. The fact of the matter is, they all drive on 4 legs. And according to the township engineer that we used, and we followed the rules the township laid out, that Tom provided to myself and to the folks that were volunteering with me, the road is breaking up. The road is spidering in many locations. If you notice, in the last 2 days after the rains, there's more potholes have opened. Not huge, but they're opening. And we do not know what the base of the road looks like. So we all felt, and again, it's not just a handful of people. We've been meeting on this for a year and a half, and we have publicized these meetings on their Nextdoor website, on the PST website. One person, and I recognize one of the letters, was upset that he hadn't heard, but he's told me, Mark, I don't talk to the neighbors, and I don't do social media, and I don't do Facebook. So my option was, I said that I could have knocked on 135 doors to tell you about meetings we had every month, month and a half, which isn't a really viable option. So I wanted to share with everyone, those are the numbers. The overwhelming majority of the residents believe this is a good use of monies. Nobody wants to pay more taxes. Again, we can argue the assessment percentage, but we all use the roads. And in some cases, some of our kids use all the roads. They may not live on the roads either. So we think the time to do it is now, hence the reason for the petition, and I thank you for your time. Questions?
Mark, one of those letters said, let's, wait and maybe get another bid. We've seen this happen. You get another bid. Right now, they're higher than what they were last year because they have the business. They don't have to beg for the business. And so I don't care which way you go, but think about that.
We selected the low bid, and again, the bid was open information. Anybody who wanted to see it. And a lot of the folks here have been in my house, have been in my wife and our living room, so they've seen the numbers. I don't think the percentages people have seen because we just finished collecting petitions. But it was low bid, and the other problem, and Tom's well aware of this, the issue is people doing asphalt roads right now, they are swamped with work. And the gentleman, yes, he lives in our subdivision, but he's also the one that gave us the best bid. And he's the one who's got to drive on it every day. So we thought, from being the most prudent, financially respectful to the residents, that we did the right thing. We even turned down spending $45,000 on landscape, which we thought was not needed and excessive. So we tried to watch the dollars, and we thought we came with a good compromise for everybody. So that's, I thought at least this would set the stage for the balance of the conversation.
Okay. Is there any board discussion? Any question? All right. Hi, Lee.
Lee Martirana. It's been a while since I've been here. You guys are doing great. Don't have to be here. Just watch you on 191. I have a little diagram because I was told it makes it simpler to understand.
Okay.
Excuse my ability or inability to draw. It's not my forte. Never have. That's good for tone too. Do I have to stand back there?
No, you can stand wherever. Just make sure you talk loud enough.
Okay, I can reach up there.
I don't think she can see it even. There you go.
Hi, can you hear me now? Could you hear me when I was over there? Could everybody hear me, or do I need to talk louder? Okay. Well, my understanding, and I do have one question, if I may, first to the board. is Elizabeth Street a private road or is it a public road? I'm sorry, not Elizabeth, Eleanor Street.
Eleanor is a public street.
Public,
It's a
yeah.
public street?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, you stated that there was a statute that you used that required, and I believe the statute that the township uses is that everyone, let me see if I get this right. It was the June 5th. The township uses a statute that requires assessment against all properties that benefit from the improvement, correct? And in that I should say piece, whatever it was, that article, it was 125,000, and you said it was approximately because there were 196 or 186 people that accessed that road?
For Eleanor, you're talking about.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Well,
Sounds about right.
one of the main issues that I have with this, and I was part of the road committee, as you know, for the plowing and to make sure everybody got their roads plowed the last couple of winters without using excessive salt so that it destroyed our roads even more. One of the main issues that I do have with this is, number one, Crystal Cove uses maybe 200 feet of the entire subdivision. Four Lakes Avenue is the only access for Crystal Cove, Emerald Point, Squaw Lake Drive, Sadler, and, here, let me, I'm sorry, Isle View. Okay, I don't know if everyone can see this, but as you see here, it's 400 feet, approximately 400 feet if you go in and then back out. And I got this from the roll that you gave me of who signed petitions and who didn't. And this is, I believe it's 300 and approximately 20, it's part of church's property that goes. All of these roads, every last one of them, not just Crystal Cove Court and Emerald Point, use Four Lakes Avenue to go in and out to Ralston Road. It's the only access. That's it. Everyone uses Four Lakes Avenue. Which means that the wear and tear on it is substantially more than any of the other side streets. It means that everybody on here should have to pay access, an access portion, not just Emerald Point, who's not getting paid, or Crystal Cove, they're not getting paid. And they used this much. So the problem that I have with it is, does it need to be, could it be repaired and maybe sealed and try to get it through our assessment, which I believe I requested as when I was part of the road committee, to have them do like $180, or what was it? We saved so much money, you reduced it from 160 to last year it was $60 because we saved so much money on plowing. And then instead of just keeping it building so that we could replace and repair the road. Now, I would request that if this goes through, that obviously goes back down to 60, because that would be over $6,000, and you just, I mean, it's costing us $2,600 a year, or a little bit more if it's going to be bad. I think we had 1 or 2 days, we had bad days, where there was an equipment failure, and the other one, everybody was under, Owen Road didn't even get plowed until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was a main road. However, what I'm saying is that when it comes to this, we were told, sorry, John, but I did ask you, that at the meeting, when I came to the May 23rd meeting, that we cannot do proportionate to how much of the road that you use. Township doesn't do it that way.
That's true.
Well, if that's the case, then how What I'm saying is, if it was just 4 Lakes Avenue that was done by itself, taking the percentage of the entire project, it's about $80,000 of the entire project goes to 4 Lakes Avenue. That's about 90,000 that's off on these areas, if you split it up. These people are paying access. These people are paying access to what was given to us on that notice with the 12, I believe. Let me see. I need the, you know what, this might help. Can I give you guys something? Is it okay if I hand you guys a spreadsheet or something? It might help to follow along.
This is driveway road.
Here you go.
Thank you.
What was
Oh,
given was approximately
I will.
$12.63 for everybody that was at
Yeah.
Emerald Point, and approximately $421 for everybody at Crystal Cove. And of these monies, none of them were applied to the homeowners that are on 4 Lakes Avenue. None of those funds. And that's what they're paying for, is access to 4 Lakes Avenue.
All right, Lee, how about, I mean, like a gentleman just told me, I had said we have to cut it at around
Oh.
2 minutes.
Sorry.
But
Okay.
how about the people come up and they'll ask questions too, and then we'll get answers that way.
Okay.
I
Want me to
do
leave that
have,
up?
I have, yeah, please, leave it up.
Okay.
Tom, what she's saying is Crystal Cove Drive, right there at the front. Are they being charged the same amount of money per parcel? No.
They're being charged at 25%, a quarter share,
Okay,
a quarter share.
okay.
Emerald Point is being charged a 75% sharing, or 3/4 share,
Okay, got it.
okay?
And
These roads here are not being charged anything. And instead of having this access money for the 3/4 share and the quarter share distributed as part of the 4 Lakes Avenue, it's going to all of them, which would cause a problem because Crystal Cove does not access Sadler, West 4 Lakes, Squaw Lake Drive, or Isleview
I got it.
to get out.
Okay. Do you want to explain that?
Well, the project cost is not divvied up by road segment. It's a single project that includes several roads. And the approach that was requested was that all properties fronting the improvement paid a full share, and those that didn't paid a partial share. So we're not breaking up, we don't have a separate cost estimate for West 4 Lakes and Sadler and Squaw Lake and Isleview. It's one project that includes all the roads. So the approach is, you've got properties that front the improvement and properties that don't. Now, again, tonight, we're not debating assessment, how the assessment is divvied up tonight. That's the second hearing, but that was what was requested.
Okay.
Does everybody understand? I guess I wanted to make sure everybody understood that. it
All right,
was
so that means
several
this
or
in
not.
2 weeks that hearing comes. I have a question though, as I was hearing her talk. If 4 Lakes, the main road, is the road that's used for everybody, does the contractor ever approach you and say, we are going to give you more asphalt, or we're going to do a little bit more for the main route? They don't.
No, the bid was 4 inches, 2.5 inches of base and 1/2 inch of top for all of the roads that are part of the petition.
Got it, okay. All right, is there anyone else?
Good evening. My name's Mike Miller. I live on Crystal Cove Court, and we've been to Mark's house and we had the discussion about this project. One of the problems I have with it is we were never approached to be included in the project. I don't know why that is. said it was a different tax area, whatever. If they would have came to Crystal Cove Court, we've talked to our neighbors, everybody pretty much would have signed up to be part of this project. So it's a little bit bitter pill to take, not being included, and then getting hit for the entry area, which if you look at a quarter assessment on that, and you take the 16 people that live on Crystal Cove Court, that equates to paying for that whole entry. Okay? So I think that there's, if it's gonna be looked at, let's look at it as a complete neighborhood. And let's cover all the roads. If you're gonna do it, I have no problem paying my part to do the entire project. We have a lot of frontage on Crystal Cove Court. If we don't do it with this project, we're gonna have to do it again at a later date.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then you're gonna have trucks going on your entryway to resurface that road. So, it needs to be looked at. We've talked to Mark. They didn't want to go through the petition process again. So, I know it's a long process, but I'm not on board with this if we're not included.
Okay.
I know that we've got another individual that's actually taken petitions around our neighborhood to be eliminated from it. So, thank you.
Any opinion from any of you board members? No?
Do you want
All
me
right.
to reply to that or not? I'm just trying to follow your rules.
Let's go through and we'll get their opinion and then we'll know. Hi.
Good evening. I am the other individual he just mentioned. My name is Curtis. I live on Crystal Cove Court. I did take it upon myself and go through, sadly, as late as yesterday, handing out petitions explaining pretty much what everybody's explained in detail thus far. I have them handy if you guys want copies of them. I received obviously over 50%. There were 5 individuals that have not returned.
Can you hear him? No. No, you need to talk just a little louder.
How about now?
Perfect.
Okay. You want me to start over?
Please.
Okay, all right. My name is Curtis. I live on Crystal Cove Court. As the gentleman just explained, I have recently canvassed our street, being Crystal Cove Court, and explained our understanding to everybody, and received actual written and signed petitions to be removed from this repair. And 5 individuals did not return, and I believe a few of those individuals are actually on vacation because the petitions are right where I left them up to yesterday. In addition to that, I'm not going to restate everything everybody said. Is just the numbers are unfair. I actually can relate to one of the letters you read saying that they didn't receive the letter about the very first meeting about the bids, because I didn't receive one as well.
Okay.
So
and
I'm
that
not
could be
sure.
the mail. I mean,
Well,
it could be.
Well, we can-
It was mailed from a university or something, because when I opened it, I was surprised that it had anything to do with the May 23rd. I think somebody used a university envelope or something. I thought it was junk mail.
Okay.
I just opened it by chance.
Okay.
So that could be something else actually to, I don't want to say investigate, but as far as which individuals didn't receive the letter versus received the letter. As well as in a situation like this, I had a question for the board. In a matter of a petition that requires tax, should these petitions have to be notarized? Otherwise, anybody can sign it and say that they got that permission.
Tom?
The statute does.
No, there's no notarization requirement. There's actually nothing, a counter petition, Ben, if step in if you like, but a counter petition is just a petition. Yeah.
So a petition to require our tax dollars to be paid for the road that we aren't going to be using in full without signature, or with signatures without notarization is legal, but a counter petition wouldn't be legal?
No, I'm saying a counter petition does not need to be notarized.
Okay, so so does that mean the initial petition needs to be notarized?
No.
So anybody can just sign it and turn it in and say, not saying that this is what's going on, but if someone were to say forge a signature and turn it in, that would suffice for the 51% or more?
If someone wanted to challenge, we retain the petitions, they could be reviewed.
Okay. But again, I'd like to stand because everybody, before me has already said the same thing I was saying, and I know this isn't a meeting about the assessment. However, I do have a copy of these, but if you're saying it doesn't matter, I'll still give them to you though. But nothing further.
Okay. Is there anyone else? No one else in regards to this? Mark, did you want to explain a couple of things?
Well, again.
You want to come up here and
Sure.
it'll help the people.
Again, a lot of these folks have been in my house, so. Oops. The process has been going on for almost a year and a half. That's number one. Number two, as I've said, the meetings were publicized primarily through social media. It just seems to be the vehicle that makes the most sense for most people. Admittedly, not everybody uses social media. The alternatives were difficult. The first mailing we sent out, actually I paid for the mailing and I paid for the envelopes. And they were white envelopes that I bought at Target and delivered them to Tom Broker and he sent them out. So the issue about not including Crystal Cove and Emerald Point, fundamentally the reason, and again, this is over a year and a half, was that the special assessment district that was already set up for snow plowing was the streets that we are petitioning to repave. The process, which I don't completely understand, to change the special assessment district to include different streets, we just chose not to pursue it because we were trying to get the roads fixed this year. When the individuals at Crystal Cove have approached me, I have indicated more than one of them, I'd be happy to introduce you to Tom Broker. I'd be happy to talk to you about the process. But if we stop now and start all over again and add another street, we will lose the window this year to repave the road this year because the amount of work these contractors have to do. We're going to be pushed to get it done this year as it is. So those were the business reasons on why we made the decisions we made. The only issue that I take extreme exception with was a forgery. I'll be happy to share any signatures. But candidly, at least half of them, they signed them in front of me. And we made sure that both individuals, if it was a wife, husband, they both signed it. In fact, one person signed it who was a renter, and I tore it up. So this was following the law to the greatest extent possible.
All
I
right.
don't.
Thank you. This is not an easy process, not at all. I wouldn't want to be Mark. I don't even think I'd want to be Mr. Tucker because of him being on the board here. And but somebody's got to do it. And if these people, and we don't do anything but collect the money. We don't pick the contractor. We don't do anything. So what your group has got to do, and we're going to have a meeting in 2 weeks, maybe get your group together again and any pros and cons. I didn't hear a lot of pros and cons. I really did. I understand what Lee's talking about in that. But this road, we do get complaints all the time in the winter months. And it's gonna, if we have a bad winter again, you're gonna have problems. But my biggest fear, and this has happened already, and Mr. Broker would tell you this, we had a huge road that we were gonna do. And we couldn't get the people all together on it. And finally, we had to go out for another bid. And how much, what was the percentage higher? Was it
Talking Dartmouth?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later tonight. The bid was 65% over the engineering estimate.
65% over, because they've got work, they don't care, you know, so they'll put the price up. So I would make a suggestion, get together again, but you'll be coming back in 2 weeks. All right, I'm going to close the public comment. Is there anyone else? All right. Resolution number 2018-16. Clerk Crew, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, Resolution 2018-16 determines that the petition filed satisfactorily certifies the statutory requirements, approve the plan and estimated cost of the project, creates the 4 Lake Special Improvement Special Assessment District and includes properties, pardon me, properties funding the following streets: 4 Lake Avenue, West 4 Lakes, Sadler Drive, Squaw Lake Drive, Island View Drive, Crystal Cove Court, and Emerald Point. It also directs the supervisor to create a special assessment role and repeals any conflicting resolutions. I will move the resolution.
All right, roll call, please.
Support.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker is out. Kessler.
Yes.
The rain is absent. I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, the reason why I hesitated on that, when I said public hearing for the special improvement, I did not have Emerald Point on that, on my list. But you just stated in the resolution.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
okay.
it-
Okay, we're fine.
It is part of 2018-60.
Okay. All right, so this next one, the meeting will be, what's the date, Tom?
Well, we need to move on to the next resolution.
We need to go to
Resolution number
2018.
2018-17. Clerk Krug, would you please read the resolution?
2018-17 acknowledges the filing of a special assessment role with the clerk and is available for review until the public hearing. Schedule a public hearing on the special assessment role at the August 6th meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to the statute, and again repeals any conflicting resolutions. I will move the resolution.
Any further discussion?
Support.
No, I have a support, all right. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mathis.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
The rain is absent. I vote yes. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, what I will do, we'll take a small break because we're done with that, and I'm gonna go on to reports about mosquito control and that, and if any of you want to leave, you're welcome to leave. But if you don't want to, you're welcome to stay. You just don't know. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, yeah, totally. I totally believe that. Yep.
I think it was
Really?
Tucker. Why do you pull in
Oh my gosh, how many was here?
And Crystal Cove is the same as some of them.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them. Well, how's that? You're not a clear room.
Yeah. Actually, that's the way to do it.
Come on up.
Oh, I know. Counter petitions. Would that be something to bring to the next meeting then?
No, we would. Okay.
She is our attorney.
Only counter suspended. Well, as long as they know our petition, I don't get the whole, and that would, and the percentage would have to be not for three, but of the entire special assessment. Okay?
Okay. Curtis.
I were you, hi, you guys do the phone. I would try and jump in to this with the French process.
And the way we did this is we sent them directly to the vendors on the MTO side. So they come back, we don't have to, like, we have like, tell petition themselves. We had them, they come down here. Change up the population, increase the down.
Hey Lee, go drive that boat.
Go do what?
Drive your boat, fixed boat.
I want, I don't know how many times I heard Joe, and for getting it done by the reunion. I had all those people, I was freaking out.
Thanks, Lee, for that.
Take care, Lee.
That was-
No, I get what
That
you're
was
saying,
perfect.
but you wouldn't pay a court, you wouldn't be a court insurer.
And that helped, visual, yep.
Of just that area.
Okay.
Okay, and what I was told.
My God, I emptied the whole building.
They cleared out in a hurry.
Road is repaving now.
All right, I'll wait till John and then
And
we'll.
then Crystal Cove Court came in afterwards. I believe that to be true. I was in there in 2000 for this newer. And so, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't need work, but I go down there, I ride my bike down there. I said, yeah, they do it. It's the same thing, but I would be playing nice with you. It's all there.
I'm a little offended.
Sorry, ladies.
There you go.
Is that better? We can talk. Number.
Yeah.
You know, give me your number, I'll give you a call and talk. And I'm not trying to tell you
You can make
anything.
it
I'm
happen,
trying
but I will tell you that it is highly unlikely that you're gonna be able to oppose it with just signatures on your vote.
Right.
You don't have a percentage. You want included and.
Well, no, the signature stuff. I mean, and then, like I said, I know he got a little heated.
They would have
I
to be
said,
challenged. You're right, it doesn't have to be notarized anything, the only reason
which
they
is
would
crazy
have,
dealing
would
with
have to.
tax dollars, but.
The process is interesting, because there are a million different ways to do it. But it is statutory.
Right.
Nice to meet you, neighbor. I come by your house, I know, I just don't know which one it is.
The one going in the driveway.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
I have it at the
Big
back,
boat?
so. No, that's, we're in the cul-de-sac.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. The next item, excuse me, reports. In your packet, you have the literature in regards to APM mosquito control. It is your mid-year report. Do you have any questions, gentlemen, on this report?
Well, I've had people approach me and I don't know about it, but do we know if this really is wiping out the turtle and frog and?
We don't know, but if you drive around this lake, there's all kinds of turtles.
Well, it
Dear
really,
God.
like I say, it's been into Tri-County, I've had a couple of phone calls. So I guess maybe we should get the application company to,
Talk about it. I think it's always anecdotal. I mean, what I know is anecdotal. I know I got frogs. I know I don't have mosquitoes, but I can tell you what it was like before this was done.
Oh, you
They
better
would pick
believe
you
it.
up and carry you away. I
Yeah.
mean, you need a blood transfusion to get out, but.
well, you gotta be careful and not confuse it with logic and common
I know,
sense.
But everybody's kinda got their perspective, but, you know, I'm trying not to do things anecdotally.
We can
Come in and just explain.
add
it.
it
So
at our
That's
board
that's
meeting.
all this, but I'm with, I mean, I can tell you, I got turtles all over my yard
Oh.
because they dig them up. And being on Lake Panema, driving the boat, I'm, just like John says, anecdotal, but,
Maybe they all moved to
turtles
your
all over
house.
there, man.
There's turtles all
I'm
over.
just, it
I don't know.
seems to
numbers.
be becoming more and more frequent question. Be good if we had them
Well, it's a
come in
good
and
question.
answered it.
I mean, I'm good with the question, I don't see it.
We'll get the
I'm
company
sure
to
they'll be
come.
happy to come in, we can get them in maybe in the fall.
Okay.
All right, are there any committee reports to be made to the board? If not, are there any communications? None. Adoption of ordinances? None. Unfinished business? None. New business, appointment to the Township Planning Commission. There has been a vacancy in the Planning Commission since Scott Himmeyer's right?
Yep.
Term ended on May 31st. One of Mr. Himmeyer's colleagues at Rowe Professional Services, who is in the audience, is Justin Westbrook, has applied for the position. Mr. Westbrook has experience in civil engineering and would make a fine addition to the Planning Commission. This position is very, very important. And so I would like to make an appointment, but I'm going to ask for board discussion first.
I met Justin, he was at our last couple of planning commission meetings, and he was just a nice young gentleman when I met him. I had no idea that he was an engineer, that he was with Rowe. So effectively, that was the role that Scott Hemmeyer was serving for us. To have an engineer on the planning commission is, I'm sure you can imagine, is an immense benefit. So
Absolutely.
he's been to 2 of the meetings, he's stupid enough to keep his name in the hat, then I welcome him, and I think he'd make a great addition, so.
All right, seeing that you're in the Planning Commission, would you like to make a motion? Or no,
That's your thing.
do
I'll
I
second.
have to make the motion?
You go ahead.
Yeah, actually, you
Yes.
should.
I have to, okay.
Madam Supervisor, one correction I meant to make in the motion. We had talked to Doug about this. The term just ended, but to get our terms balanced, we'd like to make this term just until 2019. And then that way, we've got 2 terms ending each year instead of, they're unbalanced right now. We get 1, then 3, then 2. And if
I
we do
think
this,
that's-
we do
that's
this
better.
for a year, then they're gonna be right in sync.
They'll be
from
in the
there
same
on.
time, all right. I would like to, a motion.
Bonnie, can I just say,
Uh-huh.
I know we spoke about last meeting, but I really would like to start discussing with these people that, before we put them on the planning or zoning boards, just talk to them, see what their views are on certain things. And planning, in my opinion, in our township is probably one of the most important things, the important boards you can be on. And just to keep willy-nilly and just saying, okay, we think they're good. I trust John, but the fact is there's certain things I'd like to ask and have questions eventually. And if this is not a thing we need right away, I would like to see if we could have this gentleman come in and we could talk to them. You know, I think it'd be nice if they came in front of the board when we actually appointed them. You know, I think that would
Oh, I
be a
would
nice
have.
thing,
Yes,
too.
I would.
Yeah, we could, at least if they came when we appointed them, we could talk to them, ask the questions we want, and all in one, and it'd be over with.
Did you see where, his resume, the long resume? Okay. Tom, how many applicants was there?
Oh, well, actually, when Scott told us he wasn't coming back, he said he thought he had some people who might be interested. So we didn't really advertise for it, because we really wanted to get an engineer. So that's the route we took.
Is not the appointment to the planning commission the only one that the supervisor can appoint without our approval?
Well, not without your approval, but she's the only one who could put a name up
Okay.
for appointment. That's correct.
Is that just my question, just for my education?
Yes.
Yep.
You're powerful, Bonnie. Powerful.
All right. I know we need this person in the planning commission right now. We've got a lot of things going on. I did read his resume. I was impressed.
Here's the thing, the paperwork they give you can look fantastic and everything. I've looked enough resumes in my life, and I'm sure everybody else here has, to tell you it's all great, but until you talk to somebody, you know,
Okay.
their views and opinions, you know, and I'm sure I'm probably the only one on this board that feels this way, but, you know, there's certain things that I'm, number one, I'd like to know, do you think the master plan is pretty much what you should stick to the whole time? How often do you think you should vary from the master plan? I'd like to have those questions answered from
Okay.
you, because we spent a lot of money on the master plan. We do spot zoning,
gonna let him do it.
and I just don't think it's effective, so.
All right, now, I could have Justin come up.
If
And
you
we've
guys-
got time now. You could go ahead and ask him some questions.
Well, if you guys are, I mean, if you think I'm off base with just wanting to talk to these people, then I'm
No,
just one
no.
of seven.
The only thing
things
that I say is that this was in your packet, and I would have arranged that, Sean,
Well,
anytime.
I brought it up at several meetings before. I don't think this is the first time
Oh.
that how many times, I think I brought it 3 or 4 times that we'd like to, if it's okay, if it was, we could.
Oh, it's
we're
all right
allowed to
with
do
me,
it.
anytime.
You know,
I don't have a problem with that. Would you, though, while he's here, like to ask a few questions?
I just think as a board, it would be nice to do that. Whenever you're
I
hiring
think so.
somebody to do something, I think it would just be a nice policy for us to put in place.
I will do that from now on.
And it would show our residents that, guess what, we're trying to find the most qualified person. And it would show me that you care enough to show up and sit down and talk to us also. And I think that'd be nice.
Absolutely. All right, Justin, would you like to come up and come to the podium? And the board will ask you some questions. Sean, I promise you, we will do it from now on.
Okay, like I said, it would be difficult, I just,
Well, I'm Justin Westbrook, like I said, work at Row, live at
You
4169.
might have to talk a little louder, Justin.
Okay. Justin Westbrook, work at Row, live at 4169 Silver Lake Road, Linden address. So, and yeah, I'm more than willing to answer any questions you may have.
well, you hurt kind of mine.
Yeah.
On the master plan, what you feeling with sticking to the master plan?
Well, I think the master plan is, you know, it's there, it's put in place, and it's a good tool to follow, and, you know, so that's something that should definitely go into any decision-making process, is to look at the master plan, make sure that decisions, you know, follow along with what the plan is for the next, for the township for the next 25 years, and, you know, yeah, you might have special circumstances every now and then that you have to deviate a little bit, but, I mean, I think it's a very important tool, and, you know, I think that that's something that I would be looking at every time a decision has to be made, so.
For Mark's sake, how do you feel about chickens?
Oh, no.
I'm just messing, Mark, I'm sorry. No, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I wish I would have known you were here, I probably would have prepared a couple more, but I don't have any more for you. But looking back at you back there, wouldn't have thought that was you with your
Yep,
resume the way it is. Very impressive. And
Well,
pleasure to meet you.
I will say that I'm, you know, I would be looking forward to serving on the planning commission board. I've, you know, been working in the engineering field for 10 years now, and,
It's hard to believe he's so
I-
young.
youthful appearance, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I've been on the presenting side of planning commission boards numerous times with different projects and stuff we worked on, so it's not a new experience for me, so it's just going to be a different being on the other side of the table, so.
And you work well with Doug Pickett
Yep.
From Row Engineering,
Mm-hmm.
and have served on many boards in the past years.
Yep.
You
yeah.
just, when you really look at you, when you walked in my office, I'll be honest with you, I thought I got the wrong person. And it's wonderful that you look so young.
Yeah.
But your experience absolutely weighs out.
Yeah.
Is there any other?
Yeah, I got a question. What grade were you in when John Matonich come and got you?
Oh, again, I have no
Don't
idea.
answer that.
But we will do that, Sean. I will apologize.
No,
I
no.
interviewed him because, I mean, I was given the papers and that, and I just knew, we're doing the master plan, and tonight, you've got your copies of your master plan. So, I would like to make a motion to appoint Justin A. Westbrook to the Fenton Township Planning Commission for the term ending May 31st, 2019.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Gopal?
Yes.
You have my condolences. You've been appointed.
Well, thank you.
Do you want to swear him in?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's swear him in.
Okay.
Yes.
You can do it right now if you like.
Yeah, let's do it. You go ahead.
Come on up.
And you won't, he wouldn't have to
We'll
come
fill out the
back.
paperwork later.
Do the swearing now, though.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and to faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Planning Commissioner in and for the Charter Township of Fenton, County of Genesee, and State of Michigan according to the best of your abilities?
I do.
It's the right answer.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Now
much.
you're really.
I'm in it now.
Thank you. That's pretty good, you can just rip that off.
Yeah.
I gotta give you credit.
I've done it a few hundred
Does
times.
it?
I know you have, but it's still pretty good.
I'd have to go upstairs and get my copy.
I know, I'm with you. I'll be reading.
All right, resolution number 2018-18, street improvement special assessment district for Dartmouth Drive. This is in your packet, but I'm going to ask Operation Manager Tom Broker, who will give us more details.
Okay, this one has been hanging around for a while. If you remember, we ended up reducing the scope of the project because properties to the south wouldn't sign off on the right-of-way agreements. So the road commission got it designed. On their initial bid, which I did not actually put in the memo, their initial bid, they got one bid and it was double their estimate. So we said, we'll reject that, let's try it again in a month. They got 3 bids this time. The low bid is still 65% over their estimate. So I contacted the person who circulated the petitions, and he said, well, let's have the hearing and see what happens. So there's 2 things that have to happen at the hearing if we adopt the resolution. Because the cost exceeds the previous estimated cost by more than 10%, we have to give them the opportunity, I think basically to back out. Does that sound right, Amanda? Or move forward with the number as given. And I think a third option would be to reject the bids a second time and ask the road commission to bid it out over the winter in the hopes that maybe they can get a better bid. So I think we need to get those property owners' input on that. And if they decide to move forward, we'll have a roll. There's a roll that's been certified and submitted to the clerk's office that we can then have a hearing on at the same time. So that's, in a nutshell, what we're looking at.
Is there any board discussion for Mr. Broker? None? All right, resolution number 2018-18. Clerk Crew, would you please present the resolution?
2018-18 acknowledges the filing of a special assessment roll with the clerk, and it's available for review until the public hearing. Acknowledges that the revised cost exceeds the previous estimated cost by 10% or more. It schedules a public hearing on the increased cost and the special assessment district roll at the August 6th board meeting. It directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to the statute, and it repeals any conflicting resolutions. I will move said resolution.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, gentlemen, in your packet is the Fenton Township Master Plan update. I've got it in loose paper, but I know you've got it on your computers. Huh?
Yours rejected, Bob. I couldn't get it to you by email.
Oh, you
Okay,
don't have?
I'll get a copy. Don't worry
I
about
had to
it.
split it up into 2 emails because it was bouncing back on some, and yours bounced back again, unfortunately.
If that's the worst that happens, I'll read it tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, we have a period of so many days that we need to be able to review this. As you review it, it's interesting. It really, really is interesting. But there is a few things in there that I think you'll come back with changing. So, Treasurer Tucker, you have any additional comments on it?
Sure. Thank you, Bonnie. As you know, we've been working on this a while. It's actually not too far off from schedule from what we were mapping out originally. So a lot of public input meetings, a lot of discussion. This master plan is different than the one we had before, okay? So you need to pay attention to it. I went through it before it got to this point. I've only slugged my way through about a third of it. So I'm glad there's some more time because there were changes and corrections. Most of it were typographical and that sort of thing. But I think everybody kind of needs to look at it and just from a big picture standpoint, what is different about it is there's a fairly large area along Thompson Road and running south from Thompson Road down in the Jennings Road area that's master plan for what's now called a mixed-use development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're looking at commercial, we're looking at maybe higher density residential. You know, there's some interesting things, and what it will do, if in fact it's adopted, will open that development up really to what the market is doing. You know, instead of putting it into a particular category, but it clearly is a focus of where you want the higher intensity uses to occur. And it will be kind of an interesting thing if we go that way to see what the market says will work along there. So don't be stunned if somebody comes in and says, I want to put some apartments along Thompson Road. A little bit different than what we're talking about. So mixed use, that kind of thing.
Okay.
There's some interesting things because we have all new people involved in this, and the young lady that was helping us was from Ann Arbor, and she has some newer ideas. You'll see comments and references to the possibility of what we would colloquially refer to as mother-in-law flats. And what that means is a second, smaller structure on a single parcel. You're talking two. Okay, those are things to think
They're
about.
starting to do
Okay? There's a reference in here to tiny houses.
Oh dear.
Okay, I didn't know it was a thing until she was telling us about it. It's a thing. And what the master plan says is that we would consider implementing those in the mobile home zoning district. Okay, so it's not something we're gonna do in lieu of houses, but these are essentially like trailer size. There's
Very
a,
small, some of them.
there's a.
Smaller than trailers, some of
Not
them.
mobile home, I'm talking about trailer.
No,
Yeah,
No.
okay. all right,
500
well,
square feet.
They're very
400.
tiny.
Very
And there is another category of storage container houses, okay?
Oh, good.
Mr. Marco and I went to a MTA meeting last Thursday up at, in Frankenmuth. Stunning, they had chicken, I know.
Wonder why.
But the presenters had brought an assistant with her, and the assistant is like dying to have one of these container houses. I mean, I don't necessarily get it, but, you know, it's new things, it's stuff that you would not have seen in the master plan before, but from a really functional standpoint, what you need to look at is that mixed-use area and see how you feel about that. The rest of the stuff, you know, like there's the normal amount of demographics, there's, you know, that kind of thing, but from my perspective, the thing that's really changing in this master plan is that fairly large mixed-use area. So track it down, look at it, see what you think about it, because this is, you know, where opinions matter, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Well, it's funny when you look, because I was on the group that did the current one, or previous, and nobody wanted gardens or anything, and now everybody wants a garden and chickens. And it just shows the change in the culture,
Right, right.
that technically it's against the plan.
Mark has a scratch.
Yeah, I know it's figure he was scratching with, but, you know, so you're right, you gotta look at it, but you've gotta be flexible enough,
Yeah.
because it's a changing world. You know, before we had the ones in the northwest corner that wanted, what was it, 10 acres or more per parcel.
Right.
And now we're looking at 500 square foot homes, so.
Times are changing.
You're right,
Yep.
that's a huge change. Is there any other board discussion in regards to this? All right.
Please look at it. Please look at it.
A motion to approve the distribution and review the draft of the Fenton Township Community Master Plan 2018 pursuant to Section 41 MCL 125.3841 of Public Act 33 of 2008, known as the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, you did the motion, second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes. Lorraine is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Proposed amendments to the 2018 Fenton Township budget. Operation Manager Tom Broker would you like to bring us updated on that?
Yes, included in the packet are proposed amendments to the general fund budget for this year. There are not a lot of significant changes. The two biggest changes are actually on the revenue side, where current treasury projections caused an increase to the estimated revenues for both the city, village, and township revenue sharing and the constitutional revenue sharing. All the other changes are relatively minor. The net impact of the change is an increase to the projected surplus of about 31,000 from 50 to 81. So the numbers are looking real solid, and no real surprises anywhere. And there are no proposed amendments for any of the other funds at this time.
Okay. Is there any board discussion? A motion. I need a motion to adopt amendment to the 2018 Fenton Township budget as presented.
So moved.
Do I hear any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
And Lorraine is absent. Motion passes.
All right, in front of you is also the proposed sale of tax reverted property. It's in your packet, and do you have any questions? And this is for Mr. Robert Pattison, and he's on Manitowaka. This property is on Manitowaka. Are there any questions in regards to it?
Why does it keep going back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
I
land-
mean,
it's
because you owned it at one time,
Yes,
correct?
I did, and.
Quite a few
the-
years.
The few times that I've gotten in my life delinquent tax notices, I've paid them within a week.
I know you have.
There was some slip up because I wasn't notified, but I'm not here to cry about it. I talked with Julia, and she said the township probably accepted it just to stop the cycle.
Well, I'm not against you getting it. I
Yeah,
would,
yeah, but.
when you read the
I was
history,
surprised that they had it, because I thought I had it. I own a great deal of lots in that plat, and I get a whole sheaf of tax statements,
Mhm.
and I just.
It could have just got,
But I've been reviewing them, and I thought, and I went to Julie and asked her, what happened here? She said, well, it's been to the tax sale 3 times. And she said the township may consider it, selling it back to you.
I have
okay, I
no
was just
problem.
curious when I
all
reviewed
of
the
that.
history. Thank you.
It's just a tiny
It's
sliver of
it's a
land.
landmark.
If you look into this though,
Never mark it.
I was asking the assessor, you have the different parcels, and as we look at it, it would all be one. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was looking at it.
Yeah,
I said, those look like they're roads, but they've never been established.
yeah,
They're
they platted them,
easement.
but they never put them in.
No, no. So that, but now why, now I'm just asking this, why this little piece?
I don't know how it came there. I bought an attorney in Flint, years ago from Alan Parker.
Okay.
On Court Street. He's a very
Duke?
nice gentleman.
Duke?
But,
Duke?
Duke?
yeah.
You mean Duke? Yeah.
You gotta watch those attorneys.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you look into this, Tom, you want to tell in regards to, it's cost us currently due is $6.84,
Well,
right?
the amount we charged off the last time when we took ownership a couple of years ago was $1.05. And the current summer taxes due on the property is $5.64
Okay, so $1.05
cents or 60, I don't know.
What is the total cost the township has in dealing with this property?
$6.84.
That's it.
everything.
Yep.
What's the SUV?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't know. Can't be much if it's
Few hundred bucks.
Few $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably plenty of room for a tiny house.
Yeah. So, I'm going to just do this and you can say yes or no or whatever. A motion to approve the sale of the parcel 0611 530-029 to Robert Pattison for the price of $10.
I just have a
Got it, okay.
for a man. Well,
What
Just
was
asking,
she
I
saying?
just wanna keep us out of trouble here. Do we list this property ever for sale?
No, it's not
Okay.
it's not marketable.
Well, I understand that, but I just don't want somebody
It's-
coming back and say, I wanted to buy it and I never was offered the opportunity and I was willing to pay $20 for it instead of $10 for it.
But isn't it landlocked only onto your property?
That's right.
So nobody
Hold on,
can,
hold on,
okay,
just
I'm
hold on.
sorry.
Hold on, that's neither here nor there. I think Amanda would agree with me. Guess what? Because if I want to own something that's landlocked, I have the right to own something that's landlocked. And I'm just saying, I just want to ask her, we're not going to get in trouble by just deciding on a whim that we want to sell this without offering it to everyone.
There's no requirement that you
Okay.
put it out
So,
for it. There's no requirement,
all right.
right.
Then I'll second it if no one did. So,
All right.
I just wanted to make sure we wouldn't get in trouble.
That's okay, that's
all I'm
okay.
asking.
You've got the second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Gopal?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mathis?
Yes.
I also vote yes, motion passes.
Okay, my next item, and I had the picture of it, but I don't know what I did with it. It is in regards to the sale of township-owned vehicle. It was sold, I believe it was yesterday. It was approved for the sale of a 2004 Chevy Silverado, 4x4 pickup truck in his name is Arena, to Wayne Arena for the price of $5,500 as presented. So I've made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll support it.
Okay,
Do you
any
want
further
You want
discussion?
any details on that, or?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
How many bids? We had 8 or something?
Like, well, we listed it on municipal, like we did a couple of other vehicles. We had 7 bids between just 2 different bidders, though. You were bidding back and forth that last hour, and it got up to $5,500.
Okay.
Tom was kind enough to let me know that it was winding down, because I had made noise about trucks before, so I actually went out and looked at it. I was in a fire drill, so I didn't have a lot of time to look at it. I would defer to Sean in a heartbeat on this, but what I found in the 15 minutes that I had to look at it led me to believe that what it's going for is about what it's worth. Now, I would be inclined to probably spend more for it, because I know that's
I
been well
think I
taken
would have
care
too,
of.
because it looked good.
It looked good, it looked as well taken care of, but the stuff that I was able, it's just Kelly Bulbert. Sean would laugh at what I did to try and figure out what it was worth, but in 15 minutes with what I had available to me, that looks to me like we got bid for what it's worth.
How many miles are on it?
67,000?
67,000, yeah.
You think it's worth more? I almost called you.
There's only one book that determines the value of a car,
Yeah.
a checkbook. What
Yeah,
somebody's willing to
right.
write for is what it
Right.
is, that's what it brought.
Right.
Now, I think it might have brought more, but this is the high bid, and guess what? It's what it is, we've listed everything else in there, and it's worked out better for us in some circumstances and worse in others, and I just would say move forward and.
I almost called, if I would've had more time,
I
I would've
wish,
called.
I could've came up, scanned it real
Yeah,
quick, and we'd
because
had a
you did
value.
run
in
out of
it.
time when we were talking.
And it didn't have a tow package either, and that's what I'd be looking for, but, there's no reason for the township to have a tow package, so I get it.
Yeah.
Big VA?
Any other discussion regarding the truck? All right, board comments. Are there any comments to be made from the
You need a
board?
vote
Did we
to
vote
sell
on
it.
it?
We still
You
need to
gotta
vote.
vote.
Yeah,
I
we had the
I
second.
said the motion, I didn't get a second.
Yeah, we did get a second. You just
All right,
need to
any
vote.
further discussion? Roll call.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Gopal?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
I vote yes, Shoemaker?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, are there any comments from the members of the board? I do have one for Sean. Sean, when you were talking about possibly renting I think it was renting of the oil
Oil
change,
change place.
there's nothing in that building. All that's in that building, all the pipes froze.
Oh, I'm not saying make it an oil exchange place.
Okay,
I'm
that's
saying
what I meant.
Let Ed list it and get somebody in there who's willing to pay rent. It might be a nail salon, it might be whatever, if they're willing to do the improvements or whatever, and that's what I want to talk about with John, because in this meeting, he deals a little more with that than I would be familiar with. But what we want to do, because you're gonna have to figure whether you want a long-term lease, you want a short-term lease, what you want to do, but it's not bringing in any money right now. And something would be better than.
Well, if we list it, we can get proposals, because we don't know what the market will drive there, but we clearly don't want to be in the oil change business.
No.
Or leasing to somebody in the oil change business, or anything like that. Anything that's got the potential to environmentally contaminate that property, we should not
It's,
accept that as a tenant, even if they wanna give us a lot of money for it. That's just a bad move in my view. But
Okay.
if you do the listing, then, you know, it's Ed's job to shake the trees and find out what the interest is out there.
what we first have to do is get in there and get all the big oil tanks out. The oil tanks are from from the lower level. They have been brought up. The sides of them are huge holes cut out of them, because the DEQ told us that we had to clean the inside of those tanks. Now, I did not remove them because the cost. Do you want me to get them removed? I'll get them out of there.
You're talking about 55-gallon drums?
Yeah, oh, they're huge holes, and there must be at least 8 or 9 of them.
Could we, before we do that, just have Ed list it and then see what's from there and
Sure.
what we get? Do you see what I'm saying? What kind of?
I wouldn't spend the money until
That's
you
what I'm
do
saying,
that,
just to
right.
see, because there might be no one interested in leasing it whatsoever, they just wanted to buy it. and
Absolutely.
Back to, ground.
Okay. All right. So I did the roll call. Board comments, and is there any other comments?